Well, Geoff John's ex-wife refutes Ray Fisher's racism claim. Says Geoff was part of a black family. Yeah. How about that, Ray? Here we are at Cosmic Book News, and so that's the deal. Matt McGloin here writes, it turns out that Geoff Johns might actually be in the clear and may not be the villain of the DCEU as he's been made out to be. Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. Look, here's what happened. Joss Whedon was an asshole. And he pissed off apparently the entire cast, including Ray Fisher. And Ray went to complain to Geoff Johns about it. Geoff Johns said, hey, man, look, we can't make him mad because Warner Bros. Is banking on the Joss Whedon name to convince people that DC will now be just as good as Marvel. And somehow that was magically going to make everyone show up. It didn't. But anyway, that's the deal. Even if Geoff completely agreed with Ray about Joss Whedon, there wasn't really anything he could have done about it. And he's trying to carve out his position, says, oh, man, I could be Kevin Feige, Yeah. But whatever. Basically told him, listen, man, it's the working world, and sometimes you got to deal with assholes. And that's life, buddy. So suck it up, Oh, Ray didn't like that. So he got his agent to go over Geoff Johns' head. Geoff Johns says, hey, man, not cool. The end. That's it. Yeah, there was nothing about racism here. But since Ray had nothing, he went with that, which is pretty bad. So the article continues. Following accusations, Ray Fisher accused Johns of being a racist while filming the 2017 Justice League movie and involvement in Sci-Fi's Krypton show. Good Lord. The Superman's grandfather, which was it was a stupid show, but oh no, he didn't want him to be black. They considered a black actor for the role, and they're saying that Geoff Johns shut that down, saying that they needed an actor who looked like he could be related to Henry Cavill or something. All this stuff is hearsay. Of course, the Zod family was black, but of course Zod, yeah. Whatever. It was a failed show. This is the dumb idea of a Superman show with no Superman. Just like Batman shows with no Batman. Yeah, it doesn't really work, does it? No, not really. Although Gotham had a following. Why, I don't know, but it did. But not so much for Krypton. No, didn't work out. So there you go. So much ado about nothing. But again, hearsay. Yeah, that'll be interesting, won't it? USA Today decided, hey, well, let's reach out to John's ex-wife, who's a black woman. Oh, well, that sounds pretty significant. Somebody thought, oh, well, let's see what she says. Oh, well, what do you know? USA Today did something, well, obvious. So anyway, they report John's ex-wife, Anissa Dorsey, stood by her former spouse. Well, she says, she will always believe he is innocent of these racist stories and fictitious allegations against him. She says, I am a proud, beautiful, strong, and intelligent black woman from Louisiana. Oh, wow, a fellow Louisianan. All right, you go, girl. And I ran to California to escape real racism. Oh, damn it. Well, of course, I can't speak to her experience, but there's mixed race couples all over the place where I live here in Louisiana, and everyone doesn't have a problem with it. Yeah. I know the history of Louisiana is horrible, Klan Central, but you see, history, yeah, it was back then. Yeah, but anyway. She apparently didn't have a good time of it, and she went to California, and I guess that's how she met Geoff. But anyway, she says Geoff has enjoyed and been part of a black family since 2000, and someone's bad feelings cannot erase that time nor the truth. Yeah, well, exactly. So Yeah, I'm going to go with her assessment of Geoff. I think she knows him better than Ray Fisher, who basically had, a few words with him, and he didn't get his way, and that's it. Of course, it goes on about Ethan Van Sciver, who worked with Geoff Johns quite a bit at DC Comics, and he defended and refuted Fisher's comments immediately. He said, no, that's crap. And so there you go. And actually was the first to come out and state that Johns was no racist and had a black ex-wife. Yet most people didn't know about it because, it's his personal life. It shouldn't have to be looked into, but this is the world we live in. And, he's being destroyed. They're trying to cancel him, and this could ruin his opportunities going forward. Although he's involved in quite a few DC projects on television with, like the Superman and Lois and Stargirl and stuff like that. So, but this is a means of trying to take him down. So, anyway, he goes on. What's rather interesting about Fisher's claims against Johns is that in an article published by the Hollywood Reporter, Fisher says that he had what sounds like only one conversation. Now, I think it was actually two, because I think Geoff got back to him when he went over his head, I believe, and said, hey, man, not cool. And you could develop a reputation for troll, and this is true, And yet they still gave him chances, and he burned every bridge he could have, because up until just a few months ago, he was supposed to be in the Flash movie, and man, did he burn it, because then he turns on Walter Hamada, who has nothing to do with any of this. He said, the investigation. So, okay, the whole thing was incredibly stupid. Fisher says he has what sounds like only one conversation, which didn't sound racist at all. No, it didn't. It was just about the realities of work, and at the time they were banking on Joss Whedon, and so he's like, hey man, we can't rock the boat with that guy. It turns out you could, but for other reasons. Joss Whedon was one of these hypocrite so-called male feminists who, he speaks that language because he thinks it tells women what they want to hear so he can get into their pants. And apparently he did that a lot. And it got him in trouble. And so he got Me Too'd and is canceled. So there you go. But anyway, because I don't think he was trying to get into Ray Fisher's pants. So, but Fisher says a third party, exactly, filled him in about racist claims, which is hearsay. Yes, that's what the problem is. His initial complaints, which to a certain extent is fine. He said Joss Whedon was an asshole on set, which I totally believe. Several other people, yeah, he was. And that's just the way he comes across like that. This is long before Justice League and that sort of thing. So had he just left it there, fine. But no, and he even says, when Black Lives Matter came up again, he felt compelled to speak out, but it didn't have anything to do with that. So, we got to use hearsay charges and whatnot. The color scheme of the film was changed because he didn't like the skin tone. That's, no. It's very obvious what the color scheme was. It was desaturated and had a blue tone under Zack Snyder. It had an oversaturated tone and a red color scheme in Joss Whedon's version. That's it. And cutting it down, and a lot of black characters were cut out, but not you, Ray, and stuff like that. And to squeeze that into 2 hours, and says that must have been because of racism. No, but under the woke rules, you could throw whatever you want at it and say, yeah, it is, and so that's what he tried to do. So Fisher has yet to actually prove anything. Yeah, that's right. He never proved a damn thing. He says he's protecting people. Yeah, he's protecting people. Okay. So a former federal judge and lawyer that worked the Justice League. Yeah, she oversaw the Justice League investigation that Warner Brothers did. And so there's no, the claims of racism are baseless. That, Joss Whedon was unprofessional. Yeah, he got that, but that's about it. So here we go with Matt McCloin, very angry with Zack Snyder because of what he did to Geeks and Gamers. And he's right about that. That was a rotten thing to do. And ultimately it's like, damn, Zach, we thought you were the last man standing, and still you bent the knee to pressure from Warner Brothers. There was a lot of that crap going on, and all that. He hasn't spoken about it since, but it was a rotten thing to do, to link geeks and gamers to hate groups and almost put them on as somehow their mindset is responsible for what happened in Atlanta, which we've later known the motive was not that. But that's a problem when you run with something like that. But at best it's clumsy, but it's pretty rotten. However, McCloyne is more mad about it than Geeks and Gamers, apparently. so here, we'll get into this. So now he's saying, was Zack Snyder the guy manipulating Fisher into doing this? I don't think so. So it says, the Warner Hollywood Reporter says, for their part, Warner's sources contend that Fisher was being manipulated by Snyder, who hoped to reclaim control of the DC film universe. So hearsay again, look, you can't trash Fisher on hearsay and then, hey, look, hearsay says Snyder did this. So you're going to need a little more than that. And the truth is that Zack Snyder and Geoff Johns bump heads. Yeah, I'm sure they did. That I totally believe it. That appears, just looking at how things unfolded, yet they don't care for each other, I imagine. So he says, Grace Randolph has trashed Geoff Johns a bit on her YouTube channel and whatnot, and she says that Snyder's camp feeding her that stuff. But I didn't follow everything Grace Randolph has reported. Did she say that Geoff Johns is racist? It's not clear here. But the main thing here is he's really mad at Zack Snyder. He says, hey, it's Snyder's fault the DCEU failed. No, that's not entirely true. The Warner Brothers remains overall the bigger villain here, and the constant manipulation. Man of Steel was not a failed movie. It just wasn't what they wanted it to be. It didn't hit $1 billion, so in that aspect, it's a failure. It doesn't hit Marvel numbers. That's the same thing with Batman versus Superman, which upset them even more because it didn't, hit $1 billion. So that's the deal. Look what it has wrought since. I mean, and the supposed course correction, which was Justice League and Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84. I mean, they're terrible. The only thing that come out of it that was good was Aquaman, and that's just because it was a basic adventure. Although some of the stupid stuff was still in there, but yeah, leaps and bounds, it's the best that's come out of the post-Snyder era. Although, look, how much of that was still what was already in play before Snyder's gone? I mean, it's a pretty quick timeline there. And, Snyder cast Jason Momoa and all that. And I mean, the difference, you look at Wonder Woman 84, you look at Wonder Woman, the first film, which is heavily influenced by Snyder. Yeah, you see the difference. So he goes, while I have no insider knowledge, yeah, I'm betting Johns and Snyder butted head. Yes. Johns was coming in there to make it closer to the comic book portrayals. But keep in mind, the very idea that Cyborg is a part of Justice League, that's Geoff Johns who did that. When they did the New 52, suddenly he was no longer a part of the Teen Titans. He had been a founding member of that version of the Justice League. They had to take on Darkseid in their first adventure and all that. So that's Geoff Johns. So his influence, one way or another, was always there, even when Snyder was putting together these films. Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman comes out of the Dark Knight era of Nolan. Nolan was the producer here. They said, hey, what can you do for Superman? He wasn't going to direct it, so he hired Zack Snyder. And you look at the tone and feel of that, Man of Steel is basically Superman Begins. And that was the tone of it. But that tone is that can work for Batman. It doesn't really work so well for Superman. So there's flaws in it, but it's not the god-awful thing that people say they just don't like it. There's reasons not to like it. It's not even the death of Zod. I think it's actually Jonathan Kent's death, which is it just lacks all credibility. The idea that Clark's just going to stand there and do nothing. But as for the rest of it, the massive destruction, that's part of the idea of trying to make what would the real world look like if superpowered people like this existed. And yeah, that's what it would look like. And plus, Superman is a freshman superhero at this point. It was part one of an overarching story. They interfered, said, oh, we're going to need Batman in here, and that's what the sequel became, which doesn't really work as a sequel to Man of Steel and furthering his story. So, pretty bad. So he goes, Zack basically wanted to destroy the characters, which is what he did to Superman. No, he did not. He did not do that. And was going to do to Batman. No. This is outrageous Justice League sequel plans. The only outrage, which is it's just a stupid plot move, especially when you see Batman versus Superman and now the Snyder Cut of Justice League. There's nothing built there for this romance between Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane. It doesn't work. And the idea is that it's supposed to be this shocking scene that you didn't know was going to happen, and they reveal that this happened in between the films, I guess, and that Lois's child is actually Bruce Wayne's. Yeah, that's a stupid idea. The rest of it, no, it really isn't. And Matt McClane went way overboard deciding that the Deathstroke movie would be that Batman would be a coward in that movie. That's a huge stretch. Now, if the movies got made, now that that's revealed, it's not the big surprise anymore. Drop that. The only indications of romance for Batman seems to be with Wonder Woman. There's even like they accidentally touch hands, and it's that thing. It's a formulaic scene, but nevertheless, the attraction is there. That makes more sense as far as any romance for Batman, but. The Lois Lane thing, it's an awful idea, but good Lord. I understand what he did to Geeks and Gamers was rotten. But rein it in. So, anyway, there you go. Geoff Johns is not a racist. Never really believed it. And now his wife, who, oh, by the way, just happens to be black. Of course, under the woke-topian rules, only white supremacists marry black women. The woke-topian, there are no rules. It's just, heads I win, tails you lose type deal. That's how they operate. Anyway, taking too long on this one. So there you go. And that should shut the door on this nonsense. And Geoff Johns should just basically be left alone. And he can continue producing the TV shows, which his experience in movies has not been great. There was Green Lantern, then Justice League. Aquaman is the big winner. But his TV shows like Stargirl and Lois and Superman, look, got to call it where you can. Those are good. So, we'll see how that works out. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.